you are running against a Republican on the spectrum of, two Republicans. Okay, I'll explain that in a second. But the incumbent, of course, is a Republican. On the spectrum of Republicans, I mean, these red to blue districts right now, I've been in several of them in the last few months and have watched the ads, and I'm really surprised by how, at least in rhetoric, maybe not affiliation to Trump, but in rhetoric, how aligned a lot of these Republicans are with the most extremist elements of the Republican Party in a way that I really haven't seen that happen in these swing districts before. Usually you get a more centrist kind of message to appeal to everybody. What's happening in your district?
It's not so much what's happening in my district. It's what's happening within the Republican Party. The Republican Party no longer exists. There's just the Trump Party. And everything is measured by the degree to which you are loyal to Trump. So if you want to have any kind of viability in this party, you have to be constantly asserting your fidelity to Donald Trump, right? Because that's the only thing they will not tolerate is disloyalty to Trump. They will tolerate any other kind of transgression but that one. The problem is that there are a whole lot of Republicans who don't feel loyal to Trump, don't want to be loyal to Trump, and want to see their old school Republican worldview reflected in their elected officials. And so they also try to sound like they're center and they're old school Republican and they're, the comfort of the New Jersey Republican, like they're trying to be Steve King and Steve King at the same time, right?
That's good.
If you know what I mean by that reference, and I think you do. But the incumbent here also has this challenge that there's a third person on our ballot, because in Florida we have closed primaries. So non-party candidates go automatically to the November ballot. So we actually have a non-party and we have the incumbent. Now, it's not that the guy that's non-party is truly non-party. He's a Republican. But he's one of these letter ... you know what I mean? Letter of the alphabet with the, he's one of these extreme conspiracy theorists. And
yes.
So
the big one, guys. We have to be careful what we say now because
we're not going to say it, but that group that shall not be named, that is completely off the horizon of rationality. He's one of those people, and he's a super, super Second Amendment. And the thing that's the issue between them is that for about 15 seconds, my opponent pretended like he supported an assault rifles ban. And for them, that is such a disloyalty and such a betrayal of their movement that he got primaried last cycle by two guys, but they were stupid because they ran as Republicans and they got, they got eaten up by the machine, but they came up between them with 15,000 votes. This guy was like, why would I try to fight you in a primary? I'll just go to the general election ballot. And if he pulls another 15,000 votes, it's over for this guy.
I was going to say, are they just splitting the ticket or is there some sort of secret madness I'm not getting?
The ballot says, the incumbent, me, and the other guy. So there's two names on the ballot there. And it's just one of these things where you're like, there's absolutely zero chance that anybody would consider that third guy. So he's only pulling from the right. Like that, I know. But it's an interesting dynamic because everybody's starting to feel like the incumbent is a phony. We feel like he's a phony from the left, but they're also starting to feel like he's a phony from the right. And that starts to destabilize quite a bit. And just the general mood of just sick with Trump and Trumpism and the constant chaos and the constant lies and the constant disconnection from reality and the divisiveness. They're just sick of it. And I think people who are sick of it are like, we're voting all the thumbs out. Y'all going. So I think there's a really, really good, strong possibility of winning this thing.
From your mouth to the universe's ears and back. Cori Bush, of course, has endorsed you. This is great, a great sign. I trust her judgment on pretty much everything. So, this is definitely a race that you have to be watching in an area of the country. Just in general, we're probably going to be watching as we do every year since 2000.
I just want to add one thing real quick. Sure. I don't know if we have time, but one of the quirks of this particular seat is that if it flips from red to blue, it literally changes control of the delegation. And it's the congressional delegation that elects the electors, right? So you know how they had that whole lawsuit about faithless electors?
Yes.
It's about sending people up there who would vote in contrary to what the actual election result is in your state. And the Republicans are thinking that they can do some things to try to keep Trump in power with these faithless electors. And if my seat goes blue, that just puts the kibosh on that altogether.
Amazing. Pam Keith, I'm so inspired that you've continued to run and that you didn't listen to the naysayers saying that no, you should run for this other thing. That you could use your experience in life, because I do think it really does. Like your personal experiences are valuable on these races in particular. And I cannot wait to see you in Congress and to hear your voice in Congress and to see your fight in Congress and your empathy in Congress. So check out Pam Keith. We'll put her website down in the information section on YouTube, and we'll tweet you out as well. But thank you, and good luck in the next 26 days. Hopefully they'll decide it on election night and you could just go on vacation for a little bit.
Well, if my district flips, Florida will in fact go blue. It is the tie-breaking district of Florida. So if you got a couple extra bucks, send them our way. I'm a big fan of grassroots fundraising, and I'm very proud that even our local newspapers admitted that my fundraising reflects these values. I'm not taking money from oil and gas and all this. No.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Pam. All right. Hope to see you soon after you're elected.
Have a good one.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.